that our flag was still there.
Justin Mullins, that center is 7-foot graduate.
The Big Dog Postgame Show is brought to you by Viener X Consulting. We make your company work. And by Rick Jacklich, the big dog himself, at the Jacklich Law Group.
Good afternoon from Xfinity Center, Maryland 74, Northwestern 61. Terps are 24-7 on the year, 14-6 in conference. I'm Wayne, James Giss, Bruce Posner just off the injured list, and Mason Viener. I'm going to throw it to Mason as we always do. Mason, what did you see out there?
The Terps got up and down. They had plenty of chances to put the game away earlier in the afternoon. They did not get it done, but when it came down to it, Jakobi Gillespie hits a couple big shots, gets this place going, and Juju Reese caps off his career with one of his better games here, putting up a double-double along with Derek Queen.
James, the big man play certainly showed up today. I just heard, we were just talking with Rick Jacklich, and he said it might have been Juju's best game. What did you make of it?
He came out with a lot of energy today, and I mean, that's always a good thing. Senior night, you know, we're honoring the guys that came here and they put together a big-time career over the past 4 years. You know, Drew has done amazing things and he's gotten better, and this year to be able to cap his career off here in the regular season at Maryland with the win is extremely well.
Bruce Posner, Jakobi Gillespie heated it up, 17, 4 boards, 2 assists. Talk about the game that he had to close this out.
Yeah, he didn't have much of a game until down the wire when it matters. He was great. Wait, I want to say 2 things. At 1-3, could you imagine that we wind up at 14-6, winning 5 games on the road when we were 0-4 on the road? And number 2, this guy right here told me that the bench doesn't score, but they put in solid minutes to give the other guys some breathing room, and that's why you can win with 5 guys, correct?
Most definitely. It's a team game. You need everybody to contribute in some way. And unfortunately, everybody can't shoot the ball. We got 1 ball, you know? But the way the team is built up and the dynamic of this team, our starting 5 has the ability to carry offensively all night. If we have the guys on the bench and the guys that aren't contributing, you know, to that offensive effort, if they just bring part effort on defense, if they bring part energy, you know, that just sets us over the limit, you know? And imagine if the bench does score. Imagine if the bench does score on top of what we're doing.
Well, they scored 6 tonight,
you know what I'm saying?
and that's a big difference.
It's a big difference if we get more from them too. So it'll be a big thing. It'll be a big thing looking forward in the postseason.
Hey, Jay Young got a basket. Gillespie had, Jordan Geronimo did and had 4 points, and we almost got DHS to score.
Yeah, it didn't happen, but thank God we will not have to hear that Jay Young hasn't scored a basket since God knows when stat on the TV broadcast. I was real tired of that one. Like, go to somebody else. Say something else. Stop going off on the guy.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I think Jay Young might be one of the most electrifying players here. You know, when he got to score, the crowd went crazy. You don't see that kind of reaction from everybody else. Of course, you get the Gillespie and Rice threes, you get the Queen passes and plays, but when Jay scores, man, everybody's excited. So I like that right there.
As we go to break on the Big Dog Postgame Show, here's the video of Juju coming out of the game, Murphy coming in, the celebratory moments. It was senior day, and I know everybody, when we get back for break, will say it started like senior day. We'll be back after this word from the Big Dog himself and from Viener X Consulting, Maryland 74, Northwestern 61.
family's injured in a car crash, you'd be barking mad not to call Rick and the Big Dogs at the Jacklich Law Group at 855-BIG-DOG-1.
But as you know, Coach, it's not the last win, it's the next win that's so important. And that's why we continue to hustle, continue to work so hard for all of our clients to earn that name, the big dogs from the small firm. Just like you do. You get your guys hustling all the time.
That's why we love you, Rick.
And most of all,
Go Terps!
Still celebrating in College Park. Look, the Big Ten tournament comes up next. I know Bruce has something to say about that.
3 games in 3 days. It can be done. I got a great feeling about the Big Ten tournament. I'm not scared of anybody, especially Michigan State. We can do it. What do you think, Wayne?
What do I think? Well, it's been a long time since I've had to play any real sport 3 days in a row, but you've done this in the ACC.
Yes, I have. You know, this time of year, everybody's playing their best basketball right now. Everybody's playing their best basketball, and I think that Maryland has a few teams that they may win and return a game to, and hopefully we can cross paths in the tournament coming up. But it's going to be important, you know, building that momentum. Right now, we're coming off the win streak that we have. Hopefully, depending on the way things settle at the end of the week, on Monday, we can be in the top 10. I don't know we'll see how that goes, but definitely leading up, we had momentum going into the tournament. It'll be big for us.
Well, I have a question for Mason. I'm sure he has something to say, but the question is, what happens if you win this tournament? What's that doing for your seed line, and what happens if you make it to Sunday and don't win?
I don't really think making it to Sunday probably pushes the Terps up into the 3 line, depending on what other things happen around the country. I think if they win, there's a chance to get as high as a 2. They're definitely solidly, in my opinion, onto the 3 line. But here's the thing. I would not set out a team making a run like NC State did last year in the ACC tournament, in the Big Ten tournament. You saw it today. The gap in this league is not very wide between a team like Northwestern with a player like Martinelli that can put up 30 a night 3 days in a row, and then somebody else gets hot on that same team and they make a big, deep run into this conference tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Illinois is the team I'm watching right now, if they push deep into it, if not win the entire tournament. But the Terps, they're right there. There's nobody hotter right now in the country.
All right, you watch Martinelli. You were talking about him playing in Europe. You're impressed with his game. What'd you make of this kid who's second in the Big Ten in scoring?
Yeah, the way that he was scoring the ball with his efficiency, the reads, even the way he was playing the game, you know. I played overseas 16 years. Saw a lot of players, saw a lot of scorers, shooters. And the way that he plays at 6'7", 220, I mean, he's a junior. He still got another year if he decides to come back. NBA, I'm not saying it's not possible, you know, but at those situations, they look at players that can guard their position. In Europe, you can kind of hide people that don't play defense as well. And the fact that he can shoot the ball and he can score at the clip that he can score, he can shoot free throws, he can draw fouls, like, he could make a living in Europe, I can tell you that. He can make a living, a lot of money.
All right, I'm going to throw this back to Bruce as we look to wrap this up. You've had 5 guys who played today, most of the minutes. There's a possibility that we know several of them aren't coming back. You could end up in a situation, Mason can talk about this, where all 5 of them go. Reese, 19 and 11. DQ had 10 points, 10 boards. Rice, 11, 3 boards, 4 assists. Selt Miguel had 11 points early. What do you make of this group that might or might not all stick together, all leave? Mason?
Yeah, I mean, what a coaching job, and what a way to utilize the transfer portal, utilize the resources that the NIL organizations put together for this program, and bring in competitive and fun basketball to this arena. I mean, last year, look, nobody could score the basketball other than Jameer Young, but to retool and keep guys here like Jordan Geronimo and Julian Reese, and then go into the portal. And look, when Maryland got Selt Miguel, will be the first one to say it, I was like, we got to find somebody real. I mean, American Conference 6th Man of the Year, but, you know, this is the Big Ten. And then they got Rodney Rice, and Bruce and I were talking about the coaching job there, a guy who never really got onto the scene. And to put it together, it's credit to Kevin Willard, it's credit to the guys that run the NIL organization here, and overall team building. And look, let's face it, that's 2025 college basketball, and we're probably going to see it again. Hopefully we see it again next year with as much success.
My final comment for the day is, we got a guy on our team, and he is getting the credit. But this guy, if Maryland makes a move in the big dance, Rodney Rice's stock, from what I've read, has gone through the roof with the way he can nail that three-point shot, the way he can shoot it all, passing, He had a play with a pass to Derek Queen, and I looked at Mason, he looked at me, and we both said NBA. And this guy, listen, you saw UConn last year, where they went all the way. All of a sudden, Stephen Castle was a great player. You win. You get notoriety when you win, James.
Most definitely. I mean, it feels like March. This is where, people are made. This is where careers are made. We're still talking about some of the biggest games and biggest moments from this time of the year. And a lot of people can change the way that their life is going in this next couple of months. And I'm looking forward to it. Rice has really done a great job. All of Maryland has done a great job. And, going into this tournament right now, conference tournament is our next goal. Let's see what happens.
All right, that'll do it. We will talk to you next week as the Big Ten tournament starts up. We will do post games as Maryland continues their run, and hopefully we will join them on the road in the NCAA tournament. Thanks to Rick Jacklich. Thanks to Viener X. It has been a fantastic season here, and boy, we look to more sellouts and more days like today. Thanks to James, Bruce, and Mason. I'm Wayne Viener. Maryland wins. We'll see you next week.